Have you ever had one of those days, you've just finished your project, you put all your buttonholes in, and you realize, oh, I'm on a straight stitch machine. How shall I put my buttons on? So you decide, what am I going to do? Well, I thought I'd show you a few options that you can actually use, which are quite reasonable on a straight stitch machine. And I'll do this for shank buttons as well as for standard buttons with the holes in the top of them. So here you can see I have marked where I'm going to demonstrate some buttons. So the first thing I'll demonstrate is the shank button. So what you can do about the shank buttons. Okay? So the important thing about the shank button is that no matter what, you have to secure the thread to the fabric, and then you can sew on the button. So you can either do a knot under the fabric, or in fact, what you can use is the machine, either with or without a zigzagger. In this case, I'm going to use it with a zigzagger and show you how this can simplify matters a bit. Bring the thread down, and you should have matching thread in your bobbin and your top thread just to make this work. And so I brought the thread underneath. And what we want to do is we've got the feed dog cover, or if your feed dogs drop, you can actually just simply drop your feed dogs, set your, and then, so what you can do in this case is just make a secure set of zigzag stitches, and then make a really long, just like that, really long, maybe as long as you think is reasonable, maybe a foot of thread, and trim it off. Get a needle and pull those threads to the top. If you want to pull the bobbin thread to the top, you actually don't have to, but if you leave these two really long, you can actually use those and secure your button there, and you'll never have to worry about that coming undone. You can just do that as many times as you want, and you can either drag up the bobbin thread or not. It's entirely up to you. In this case, I've got the wrong kind of bobbin thread on here, but I just wanted to show you that I can now use this thread that I just pulled off of the thread top, and I can just attach the button with that, and it's already, and what you can do is just stitch it through the shank and under that loop, and it'll be perfectly secured and it'll never come undone. That is one way of doing it. So here is a way that I've used quite successfully, and it's actually remarkably quite simple. You just put your fingers on either side of the button, or you can use something to hold the button down, like that. And you do it by hand, but it works. As long as your foot is down, even though there's no foot on there, it will keep the tension as you need it. And you can just do that a few times. It's pretty quick. It's faster than hand sewing anyway. And then, whoops, as long as you're holding on to it, it's fine. And then when you're done, so I always find I'm just trying to get my fingers out of the way, so I'm using a pair of scissors, but normally I just do it with my fingers. So I'll do one with my fingers just so you can see it's easy. I've secured that stitch, and I'll pull this out. And okay, so let me show you this with a clean button. So here's a fresh button. So the first stitches are always the hardest, because you have to ensure it's in the right place. and hold it down. So the important thing is foot's down, okay, line it up over the hole. Now you're going to have a little more trouble seeing this because I'm going to do it with my fingers, but it's easy when you do it. You just put your fingers beside the button and then make sure you pull the threads tight. When you've done about 8, you can then, that's a full hole now. Then you can move over to the next buttonhole. Same deal. And if you want, you just keep your fingers there and use the other hand to control. And then a few strokes in the same hole, and you're done. As you can see, it works fine. So that's just an option if you want to do buttonholes. Of course, you can always do this trick, which leaves you a long thread which is already secured, and then you can just loop the button in through to make a shank if you want. By the way, that works.